We were on pins and needles all the way up until the last possible moment. I mean, it's frustrating that with so much on the line and with all of the work that has been done for decades to explain to every administration, and more so under in this administration, Biden's administration, about the significance that this would mean to let Leonard go home and be free, to honor that he has held the integrity of maintaining his innocence, and that those that have been responsible for putting him behind bars and contributing to the ways that this unjust carceral system got its claws in him and has been holding on to him, and tormenting him by pitting him in a high maximum facility, by refusing to properly address his many complicated healthcare needs, and continuing to villainize him in the narrative that they've been promoting, like what the FBI themselves have been promoting, to just like to hold all of that and like to plead and show all of the evidence that this has been an example of systemic injustice, of a case of spite and vengeance towards the American Indian movement, meant to send a message to all Indigenous peoples that we are not free in this country, and have had that all of the rights violations that Leonard faced leading up to his incarceration and throughout his incarceration, validated by those who assisted in those rights violations, calling for President Biden to grant him executive clemency, and us waiting until the last fucking 20 minutes of his administration to hear that he is granted a commutated sentence, and that is reduced to home confinement. And although we are so grateful that Leonard, after all of this time, gets to return to his homelands, gets to be surrounded by loved ones, gets to have access to the health care that he's always deserved, gets to just rest and be in peace with share, and have the ability to share the medicine and the love that he's always carried while he's been incarcerated. I feel like we're also holding this relief with conditions, just like his commutation is like done with conditions, because we have been unequivocal in communicating to the Biden administration that Leonard's freedom is a necessary step for restoring the relationship with Indigenous peoples in this country. He is the longest serving political prisoner, and everything that he fought for are many of the things that our generation now benefit from. The freedom of religion, our right to practice our culture, our right to restore our languages, our right to restore and practice our ways of living, and all of the ways that these gifts, these beautiful things about our people, contribute the alternative pathways to some of humanity's most complex and compounding challenges, such as climate change, such as systemic injustice, such as the need to provide alternatives to this corporate capitalist model of economy that is imprisoning our people, widening the wealth gap, and deepening racial tensions. All of these things that have been brought by colonization and these colonial institutions are things that Leonard was a part of addressing and naming and fighting and standing in resistance to in a prayerful and peaceful way. And he was punished for that. And so his full freedom, his full commutation and clemency was what we were always fighting for. But we'll take this as a win and a victory that was achieved over decades of advocacy, from everyone from grassroots elders, grassroots youth, to international human rights advocates, to Nobel Peace Prize winners. There was so much love poured into this, and it's not lost on me the significance of him being released, and of many of our Palestinian relatives being released. Palestinian relatives also reached out because they heard the news, and in the midst of everything that they're going through, they're also celebrating this with us, because they're They're also going through the process of realizing and grieving and celebrating the release of some of their elders, of some of their long held prisoners. And they're still reaching out in this moment to celebrate this with us. And so I think that exemplifies that, this is a big win for us. And it's still just a step towards our larger goals of freeing all of our peoples from these systems of oppression.